Hello all my beautiful sisters from those other misters. Today I am filming a review of this baby. It is the Tarte Holiday 2016 Works of Tarte Color Wheel. So Works of Tarte is the Christmas or holiday collection for 2016 from Tarte, and Color Wheel is the name of the actual product. So this is a 10 pan blush and highlight palette. I'm just going to open it up and show you real quick while I talk about cost and how to obtain it and all that jazz. So in Australia you would buy this from Sephora Australia. Retails for 65 Australian dollars. You get 24 grams of product in the whole palette. So each pan is 2.4 grams of product. So over the whole palette, 24 grams. The sizes of the pans are smaller than the full size blushes. Kat and I, when we were talking about this in Beauty News, when we sort of discovered that it was going to be a thing, we did think that these were going to be full-size blushes. Looking at it now, I'm kind of like, okay, maybe that was a little bit silly to assume that, but it can be hard to tell when you're looking at photos, you know, you just kind of get excited and you assume. So I assumed it would be bigger, but it's not. I mean, I have a small head, but this is quite small. Alright, let's talk about value for money. So, like I said, these are 2.4 grams each pan, and 24 grams over the whole palette for 65 Australian dollars. The full-size Tarte Amazonian Clay blushes retail for $38 in Australia, and they are 5.6 grams per pan. So when you compare what you're getting here, you pay, and I wrote notes so I don't forget, you pay $6.78 per gram for a full-size blush, and in these ones you pay $2.70 per gram per blush. Now, if you're thinking that's a good deal, then you're dead right. It's an absolutely fabulous deal. A lot of people take issue with the fact that it's made in China. Now, the reason it's made in China is so that they can create a large amount of them quickly and then distribute them to the relevant places that they'll be sold. The other key factor about manufacturing these in China is the fact that they can give you a fabulous deal. People do say that, you know, because it's made in China, it's bad quality, blah, blah, blah. It's not the case, especially not with this particular blush palette. Now, I have the blush palette from Holidays 2015. I love it. It's beautiful. The formula is amazing. I also have an eyeshadow palette from Tarte, Holiday 2016, and I feel like the quality of that is not as good. So I can understand why people feel like having it manufactured in China is a bad thing, but it's not always a bad thing. Sometimes things don't work out, sometimes things totally hit the mark. With this palette, in my opinion, totally hit the mark. Alright, let's talk about the packaging real quick. So you have a round palette with what I would consider a pretty ugly pattern printed on there, but that's going to come down to personal preferences. You can't please everyone with stuff like this, so some people will love it, some people won't. Inside you've got a double-sided palette. Each side you have 5 pans. You've got 3 matte blushes, a highlight and a shimmery blush. One side feels kind of bright and light, sort of spring and summer inspired, and the other side has more of a wintry autumn sort of feel to it. So I really like that. I feel like this is a sort of blush palette that you could pick up year round and use. Yeah, I think they did that aspect of it really well. You do get kind of like a clear sheet. Can we see the clear sheet? Now the sheet is actually attached. It is perforated at the edge So if you wanted to, you could take it out. I'm not going to, and I wouldn't actually recommend that you do, because it protects the shadow, protects the blushes. Now, you can pretty much put the sheet wherever you want it. You just tell it where to go and it will stay there. It'll stand up straight if you want it to. So I really like that. I feel like it's well thought out. I've never seen anything like that in a palette before, so I feel like it's a little bit innovative. It might have been done before. Feel free to correct me if I'm totally wrong, but I really like that. It's a good thing for me. All right, let's talk about quality, formula, application, color range. So the quality of the blushes is really nice. They're ever so slightly powdery. They are more powdery than the full-size Amazonian clay blushes, but it's actually a good thing. The full-size blushes, I personally feel like their pigmentation is kind of not lacking, but it's not very intense. The pigmentation on these is more intense, but it's not so intense that you're at risk of going full clown face with like one small tap of a brush. They blend beautifully, they apply really nicely, they don't go on patchy or anything like that. You can build them up very easily depending on your preferences of how much blush you like to wear. The blushes also wear very well, they have good longevity. I've not had an issue with them fading throughout the day. When we talk about the highlights, they're nice. They're really, really nice. They're more of a subtle highlight, so rather than like a metallic stripe on your face, it's like a subtle glowy sheen, which I really like. Today I'm wearing Crafty on my face. It's subtle, it's nice. It picks up the sunlight really beautifully, but it doesn't look like glaringly obvious that you have metallic sparkle on your face, so I like that. I also like that they've got basically two of the same highlighter, but it's been tweaked so that it would like suit you at different times of the year. I really like that. Alright, let's talk about the colors. So on the lighter, sort of brighter end of the palette, you've got Mod, which is like a peachy color. You've got Deco, which is a coral. You have Surreal, which is like straight up Barbie pink. Then you have Culture, which is similar to Orgasm by NARS. It's just not as glittery in my opinion. And then you have Idol, which is a highlight. This is kind of like sort of like a dark-ish, not dark, but it's darker than Crafty. So it's like a champagne gold with like a slight pink shift to it. It's very subtle, but it's there and it's beautiful because it looks like skin. On the darker end of the palette, you pretty much have three plum shades. They're all the same. Like, they kind of look a little bit different when you look at them in the pans. They look a bit different on the skin, but they're straight up just plum shades. Like, I don't know how to really distinguish between them. Like, you've got a mauvey plum, sort of a purpley plum, and then a reddish plum. Like, they're all plum. Then you have Crafty, which again is a highlight. It's a little bit lighter than Idol down here, but again, it's like that champagne gold with a pink sort of undertone to it. It's just absolutely beautiful. And then you have Concept, which is, it's a shimmery blush and it's kind of like a pinkish bronze color, and it is really, really beautiful. Great sculpting blush. Alright, let's do some swatches real quick so you can see them, and I will finish up with my final thoughts. Alright, starting with the lighter side of the palette, we've got Mod, Deco, and Surreal. Then we have Culture and Idol, which is the highlight. Then we have Icon, Montage, and Ironic. And finally we have Concept, which is the shimmery shade, and the highlight, which is Crafty. Final thoughts on the Tarte Color Wheel for Holiday 2016. Not taking into consideration my issues with the colors. We're just gonna talk about quality and all that stuff, value. I think it's worth it. It's totally worth it. If you're worried about quality, stop worrying. It's good. It's there. I'm sure you'll be very happy with it. It's a good deal. So if you think that this is something that you would like to own, then I would definitely recommend that you keep an eye out in Sephora stores and Sephora online and be ready to purchase it when it's available again in Australia. Don't be concerned about the quality, because it is good quality. Alright guys, so that's it for the Tarte Color Wheel Holiday 2016 palette review. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. And until next time, thanks so much for watching guys. Bye!